Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
I know, me either. Hey, y'all. Welcome to my little podcast.
Welcome to your little podcast.
Right.
So whatever.
This is my little podcast. I got Khris with me, gang in this thing.
You know.
And announcements. Okay, because I always feel like I need to do that. So this is going to drop today. And so this Friday is my, what is it? Spoken word night with Penrose and LNZ again. It's also to celebrate my 2-year podiversary. Like that's just so crazy. So it is Friday the 12th at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. And then if you don't catch it live, it'll be in episode notes going forward, or it'll just be on my YouTube channel. Podcast happy hour is soon. We don't have a set. Right. We don't have a set date yet, but despite there being Thanksgiving this month, we are still going to have a podcast happy hour. More to come on that. Follow me on social media. The link to my Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok. It's in the episode notes. If you need resume writing services, that is a new service that I am launching. Haven't even put it on social media yet because I haven't created the flyer for it. So if you hear this and you need resume writing services, go to my website and go ahead and schedule a free consultation with me. And I think that's it. Website's in the episode notes. Khris, any announcements from you?
Nah, I'll probably release an episode this week. That's about it.
Not probably.
If you guys didn't see Podcast Happy Hour from last month, go check that out. That's the latest episode. And I'm more than likely. And I'm finally, I guess I could tell this on your platform. So shout out to everybody who's been like putting in those guest submissions. Fun fact, I didn't know how to check them. So now that I see them finally, because I'm thinking that the program would email me hey, you got a new whatever. Okay. It doesn't do that.
Oh wow.
So that I'm sitting here damn, nobody that's crazy. But then I figured out how to log in and shit, and it's so I'm working on that. So you guys are gonna hear from some people that you probably have never heard on my show before. Okay. So stay tuned for that, and that's about it.
Yes,
I'll do all my socials and stuff at the end, I guess. All right, or you put them in the show notes. I don't really care. Don't matter.
They are always, y'all. So, always.
There you go.
Shout out to us. Apparently, I got somebody tweeted at me to thank me for getting them to binge watch Youuuu. So Netflix, holla at your girl. If I could get 0.1% of some proceeds for getting you a new viewer for you,
right? Not
even a whole percent. Just 0.1% would be something. So I'll let your girl. My email is in the episode notes as well.
If y'all looking for it.
Right. If you need anything else from me, I'm willing to collaborate. Hell, I'll take free Netflix. Honestly.
I was just gonna say, how about that though? How about just the premier tier of Netflix for
free? Yeah, if you just did that, that would be dope. You ain't even gotta give me no 0.1% of anything.
Yeah. Just as y'all continue to price hike as y'all do, just keep me in the free 99 basket.
Grandfather me in that thing.
You feel me?
The top tier, as she said, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm out here working for y'all. Just because I love this show. So
man.
We are here today. Man, this season, Youuuu, season 3, episode 3. Khris.
Missing white woman syndrome.
Yes, I have in my little notes. Khris is going to do the episode title. Yes.
Yes.
It is a thing. It was a good episode.
I'm not mad how they like titled it this and how this is very real, and you can even it even happens in like we see it through a white person's eyes. So that's interesting. But yeah, man, this is a very good episode.
Yes,
Love is on her bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Y'all, at the end of the episode, I have started a murder count.
Okay,
for Love and Joe. I didn't know I was gonna need to do that this season,
but
here we are. Episode 3. Man. There is actually a murder count, but we will get into that later. So, as we know, Natalie was killed, but no one else knows that besides Love and Joe as of now. So, Natalie's husband has reported her missing. This is a small town. It's Moderna something. I forget what it's called. I have it in like
I forgot. Yeah.
Whatever. It's this little small town outside of San Francisco. I'm pretty sure it's made up anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But
you literally have to make up places because people will really go and try to go to those places and bother people that live there. So you literally have to make fake places.
Yeah. But like it's a small town, everybody knows everybody, like stuff like this doesn't happen, so it's really a big deal that this, I won't say well-liked white woman, but I will just say this well-known, prominent, that's a good word, white woman is missing, and her husband doesn't know anything, her stepson doesn't know anything, no one seems to know what happened. And it's very interesting as we see, I have to go here, Miss Sherry. I cannot stand.
She is just so fake. Like
how she is trying to black. Girl, it just like
every week I'm like, I hate that she's black.
Trying to get clout because oh my gosh, she was my best friend, and I need a vigil, and my
closest.
Yeah, my heart just breaks for no one, but
for nobody.
She wants to be all on TV and starting search parties, or not search parties, but like flyers and vigils,
and questioning groups. So that's what you call it, like investigation groups.
Yeah, trying to figure. And then no, she didn't put Love on blast.
She lives right over there, bitch. And mind you, 30 seconds before she did that, Love was in the fucking window shaking in her boots. Like,
yep.
So really quick before we get too far in this, we end episode 2 where the cops are walking up to Natalie's house, and we know Joe and Love are losing their shit. This next episode starts there, and Love is super panicking. And I just wanted to just kind of throw this out there. Love is a person that is used to like doing whatever and not really reaping any consequences and having other people fix things for her. So the level of like panic that she's out on right now is like out of control and low key pissing Joe off.
Yep. Because she does not know how to, like, Joe is an expert at this, obviously, because he spent 2 seasons killing people and meticulously doing things so that he didn't get caught and go to jail. And Love, with her rich self, had people. So
she never gets to this part. She never gets to this part. So she does the act, and then people have cleaned it up for her.
And so that's how she's pretty much lived all her life with, I mean, the power of privilege. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she is really, really freaking out, and she is really not built for this, considering how impulsively she kills people.
Like, and that's the part that pisses me off, Sam. It's just like, we got to pick a side. Like, either we're going to be this fucking menacing fucking killer, or we're going to be this fucking scared ass white lady. Like, we can't be both though. Like, you can't impulsively do something horrific and then now we got to fucking wipe up your fucking trail of tears. The whole, like, I don't, like, we pick one. Like,
yeah, we definitely have to be about one of these lives. Yeah. And Love doesn't really know what she's doing. She doesn't. And it's funny, Joe's inner dialogue, as he basically calls her like a rookie killer, since she's never had to cover up her own mistakes.
Right.
It's hilarious how he, and I know they've always had inner dialogue of Joe's, but I feel like we're getting a lot more of it this season, or maybe it's just pettier and it's not like just in love, obsessed Joe. It's like,
yes, that's what it is that we're not just getting inner obsession dialogue, we're getting like all of his dialogue.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, because I'm like, this ain't new, but it just I'm here for
different.
it. Yeah, I love it. Everything about this season is different though. So you know.
So you mentioned the search committee. What they were just I'm struggling with trying to figure out if their line of questioning is helpful or not. Just by like I feel like it's more, their line of questioning is less helpful and more of trying to like gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes any sense, except I don't think they have any idea where to start. So you're really out here looking like dummies. Like,
yeah, I don't think they really, and I hate that it's two women detectives that seem like they don't know what they're doing, because it's like there's such a stigma when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, they just, like, even when they were questioning Joe the second time, and it was so easy for him to throw them off just by explaining what he was doing in the car. It's like, you're telling me you've never heard of stuff like that before, to where it throws you off, to where you stop all of the questioning at that point.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Like, where now you're too uncomfortable to keep going with the interview. But then I couldn't figure out if we're supposed to think that they're not good enough, or if we're supposed to think that Joe is too good. Right?
It has to be. Okay, I feel like if Joe is too good, then they're not good enough. Because
so it's synonymous.
Yeah, like, I think he is good. But when you think back to season 2 with Delilah and that detective in a larger city, because I have to factor in this that I just thought about. This is a town that they're in now where a lot of crime doesn't happen. So they may be less experienced with things like this. So they probably just aren't as experienced, because
not equipped for this.
Yeah. Because when you think back to season 2, with even just the reporter was able to figure out a lot of stuff and do a lot more digging. And this was, it's a celebrity, so it's the same thing. A prominent person gets killed, but because that detective had a lot more experience and even more resources, though, if there's cameras everywhere, they should be able to find out even more, it seems like, than what they came up with. So yeah, I think, though, you're right. It's both. Because Joe he's good, but then again, he slips up sometimes when he's, he gets away with it still, but we know, because we hear his inner dialogue,
he's losing it.
Yeah, that he kind of slipped up. So yeah.
So basically the cops interview him the first time, and they find out that he knew, because he originally said he didn't really know Natalie. She was a neighbor. He might have said hi or bye. They show him some pictures, and they kind of show that he knows her more than he says. That's basically it, really.
Which I don't even understand why he lied about that. Yeah, because if you're trying to appear innocent, which technically you are, because you're not the one that killed her. So if you're trying to appear innocent, then I would have said from jump, like, yeah, she was because I would think Matthew knows that. You know what I mean? So yeah, she was my neighbor. We had a drink once. I don't know that I would have thought about the parking lot thing. Like, I don't think he really left that on purpose. He probably just didn't think about that, because I wouldn't have thought about that. But the fact that you've been in her house, that's something that, I mean,
you gotta probably tell somebody.
Yeah, and you guys were at that party together, and people saw Love talking to her at that party. So it's kind of like, for them to say, oh, we just are at home with a newborn all the time, that's not exactly true. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you can know her and still not have killed her. I mean, you did kill her, but you can know her, and knowing her doesn't automatically mean you killed her. Which, if there are cameras in town, why don't they know that she never came out of the bakery? Like, why don't they know that Love and her went in, and then they never, I don't understand that either. And so that's kind of weird.
Maybe we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. I don't really know. You're right. You're absolutely right, though.
Yeah, because
we're talking about having random pictures of these niggas in a parking lot, and you wouldn't have pictures of like a main street, supposedly.
Exactly, because that seems like that's kind of like the downtown. Well, yeah, definitely downtown.
The city center, like, kind of
right. Like, yeah. So we'll see if that comes about. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about Love and that little boy at the bakery or whatever?
Before we go there, I have 2 points.
Yes,
that are one. Is it just me? Why does Love always look like she's sniffing through her nose? Like, her face expression always looks like she's like, I don't know. Her face, and she just always reminds me of Kerry Washington's face when she's in distress.
She about to cry?
Yes,
cry. But like, not when she's crying, but right before she starts.
Yes, all the memes that we've seen, that's what Love always looks like, and it was just really driving me crazy this episode. Okay, and then also, why is Joe still watching Matthew with the curtain open, like, to where you got caught?
Where he saw you?
Yes, like, for you to be as much, this is where I say he be slipping, because for you to be so meticulous, how do you not understand that people can see you if you don't have, like, even at least if you had a sheer curtain, someone, which that's what y'all have. They saw you. Yeah, but they're not sure. But you're like literally right by the window, daylight, nighttime when it's even worse, because you got
lights on and shit.
Yeah, like, y'all don't know anything about being the nosy neighbor, and it's just, I can't with that, because y'all are just like, what are you doing? And then one more thing before we get to Theo. Dottie being condescending towards Love and dismissing Love's concerns about her son having a fever and saying you're projecting your anxiety on him disgusts me. Like, she's so dismissive of, and yes, Love does have impulse issues and she does have anxiety, but for you to continually dismiss valid concerns doesn't make it any better.
I mean, I don't know that this is something new between their relationship.
Right. Right. But I guess her doing it with her child is what really makes me mad, because, like, yeah, you want to call this 40, but this isn't 40, sweetie. 40 is dead. And I know that. Yes. So it's kind of like, yeah. We can talk about Theo.
It's just always so weird. Like, these interactions with him and Love. Love's in the bakery by herself as usual, and Theo comes in, and it's just like a flirty exchange, or he don't have no money. Basically, like, not you trying to flirt with me and be poor at the same time, though. Like, not you'll gladly pay me Tuesday for a cupcake today. Like,
right.
Like, but that's how he came in. He said he left his wallet because he was jumping over fences or whatever the fuck. And so they have this flirty exchange. She gives him one of 40's favorite recipes, a carrot cake cupcake. He's in love. He can't believe it. So delicious. And then that's when she gets the call about her baby being ill. She trusts Theo to close the shop up.
Girl, like what?
that was the whole reason of me bringing it up. Was like, why did she leave this nigga?
You don't know what he was doing while you were gone.
Right.
Like, you don't even know him.
Did he lock it up? Like,
girl, was he snooping? Did he see Natalie's blood downstairs? Did y'all thoroughly
eating all your cupcakes?
You know what else? That too. With his hungry, broke self.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, you can come by anytime. So you want this man that continuously flirts with you to come by anytime?
That she keeps stopping from flirting with her, but then allowing him to continue to proceed doing that after she first stops him. So we know she likes this attention.
Yeah, she definitely enjoys this attention.
I think that she needs to find it from somebody else though, while we trying to not look like we killed his mother though.
That part.
Like, I think that we need this to die down a little bit.
And you and Joe are in a better place now. So like, why? Like, I
mean, he's because when we think about what she said that she wanted from him, I think he's doing his very best.
He's doing a lot better. Like, and we know he really is because we're hearing his inner dialogue.
Right.
So we know he's not just going through the motions anymore. They have a great therapist. So if you said that the reason that you enjoyed it and that you said you enjoyed it, but no, you said you didn't enjoy it, which you lied. Because you clearly do, but you said you didn't enjoy it because it shouldn't have been coming from him. So if that's true, then it shouldn't even, like, you should be shutting that down. You are married, you've established that, and not only do you leave him in the shop, but you invite him to come around as much as possible when you can't even say you're hiring him because he said he would do it free.
Yeah.
And you could barely afford, you don't even know if you can afford to pay rent because we don't know what money your mom has.
Right. Let's not forget that. Your fucking cash cow is dry as fuck and you're not selling that many cupcakes. So
at all. And I know Joe is volunteering at the library. So
like, where's the money?
Right. What life are you living?
Let me find out these niggas are squatting. Okay. So Love leaves abruptly. Henry has a fever. Turns out it's measles. From about a week ago.
Right. Yes.
So we think about what happened a week ago. The birthday party. Right? And Henry has measles and everybody's like looking at you and looking at Love and Joe like, ain't y'all vaccinated? It should be all good. Ain't y'all vaccinated or whatever like that. So I can't remember exactly what happened in the episode where they decided to frame the husband for Natalie's murder. Sorry, I'm not giving y'all no context.
Oh, okay. What do you mean? What happened? Which part?
This is after the second interview with the cops.
Right.
Okay, so now they're deciding that they're going to plan it. What's the husband's name?
Matthew.
They're trying to figure out how to put it all on Matthew, because he's not necessarily being super nice with the media. Low key giving guilty vibes and not really didn't do anything.
Right. That's what Love said in the beginning, is that he's acting guilty when he's not. Yeah. And it's not that he's acting guilty, we find out. It's just he's just not good at saying these things and communicating feelings or anything, even to his son.
Right.
But at first they do say, after the police come back the second time to talk to him in the library, that we have to frame him because we can't go down for this. And Joe he's always about protecting his woman, and he didn't murder Natalie, but Love did, and he's going to do whatever he needs to do to protect her from going down for murder.
A lot of this I feel like is just because 40's not there.
Yeah.
Like, so she's not like, she's one of those people that just needs that. Like, and so because 40's gone, Joe is now in the place. So Joe kept Natalie's scarf. Love was about to flip out.
Yep. Even though she's like flirting with his son, but okay, Love, be mad.
Well, go ahead, go off. Yeah. But she was definitely about to be mad, and he was like, not for obsession reasons, just in case we need to do this. Like, just in case we need to frame him for this. Like, so that's why I kept it. And then she was like, all right, handle your business, do what you gotta do. So this nigga Joe goes on a fever dream walk.
Girl, him against himself, that hallucination.
That was dope. I like that.
That was amazing acting, which I know he's an amazing actor because I've seen him in other stuff. Like, this isn't his first major role.
Right.
But that was just, and then we find out though that Joe was never vaccinated from the measles or probably anything. That's how he got it.
From the flashback. But we, and it's funny because we always knew that Joe's mom was not a great mom.
Right.
But I didn't think on this level.
Me neither.
Not sure a terrible mom where like I never got vaccinated.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure they were on some sort of public assistance. So like Medicaid is free.
$3.99.
He was school age when she left him. So I don't know what things they're trying to say things were like back then, but like, you have to have valid reasons why you can't. How was he in school if he wasn't vaccinated? That's wild. Was he going to school? We never saw school scenes. We saw him kill his daddy and then go to an orphanage. We really don't know what he was doing.
True shit.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why Joe is having this incredible, difficult journey getting right next door to plant this blanket is because this nigga is losing his shit because he has the measles and his body is basically attacking itself. Yeah, that Joe on Joe shit was that shit was very amazing. So I just wrote because I wasn't sure as we were watching it. Is Joe starting to lose his mind or is it the measles? Luckily, it was the measles as far as I can tell, right? But then we get that flashback with Nurse Fiona and how Joe was never vaccinated. And while all this is happening, Joe never makes it to where he needs to go.
Well, he does.
Kind of.
Right. Kind of.
But he got caught passed out.
So he jumped the fence because he's doing all of these things. So it's a really weird hallucination, just flashback montage of. So it was hard for me to understand what was going on because we see him jump a fence, but it doesn't look like the next door neighbor's fence. No, so it's hard to tell what's actually really happening. Like, did he really walk outside or is he still in the house? Because I thought he was just still in the house. Like, I kind of figured he was passed out, but I didn't think he was actually still doing things. And then it's the flashback to the nurse. And then next thing you know, Matthew's waking him up on the couch in Matthew's living room.
And all I was like, please, God, let that fucking scarf not be on your person.
Girl, because when he lifted that blanket at first, even though he was looking at his phone, I thought he had it on him. And I'm like, Joe, the fever's got you slipping. I mean, the measles got you slipping like that.
Like, for real. Like, they really got you down bad.
Right. Like, just all bad. But thankfully, won't he do it? I don't know if I should attribute that to God, but
I mean,
I don't know if I should do that.
Yeah, like why you trying to frame another nigga?
I kind of take that back. Right, my bad. Let's retract that statement.
not asking for prayers to frame a nigga though. Like.
Right. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, which while he was in there, Matthew and Joe were dropping gems in their conversation together. You know, Matthew's like, of course, what are you doing in my house, and all that stuff. But one of the things that Joe says as he's asking if Henry got sick with the measles, because there's just like huge concern. Of course, the doctors tell you what the worst case scenario could be. That's their jobs. But seeing them scared as parents and feeling helpless because they literally know there's nothing that they can do, that's a different dynamic too. Yeah, because in every other scenario we've seen them in, they've been in control and they've done what they've needed to do to manipulate the outcome in their favor. You can't do anything with this. So that was an interesting thing. And then Joe is asking Matthew if Henry getting the measles is punishment for his sins. And what Matthew says is that it's not punishment. It's just that they reflect our sins back at us, and it's so blinding. And when you think about the ways, like when I think about some of the ways that my kids are similar to me, that are actually things that I'm not fond of, habits about that myself, I have, about myself, it makes so sense. I mean, it makes so much sense because it's like I see different things in all of my kids that I'm just like, I've learned a lot about myself because of Janae. Because Janae and I are very similar. But at the same time, for me, it's given me the freedom to embrace certain parts of me that, like, maybe someone else maybe try to make me feel, I was being too sensitive, or make me feel bad about in other ways. So there is some benefit, but I thought that was a gem. And then a question that I want us to ponder for a little bit, that I think Matthew asked this, or maybe Joe did. Yeah, Joe asked this. Can you be a good father or mother if you're a bad man or woman? What are your thoughts on that? Because I just thought that was an interesting. Yeah. Like, if you're like, I feel like the quick answer would be like, sure. But elaborate. It's like, I mean, because I just think about like how some people have like, it's compartmentalizing. I feel like you have the opportunity to treat however you want to treat other people outside of here, but in this box with your kids or whatever the fuck, your family, like you're teaching your kids like to not do those things or to not accept when people act like that towards them or whatever like that. So I think my quick answer is like, sure, you could. But then, like, when you drill it down, it's just like, but really, what are you really teaching? See, it is a very complex answer. There's not a cookie cutter approach because when you think about and I'm talking about like the true crime cases I've heard about, read about, whatever, or murders or psychopaths or whatever that are like real people, although TV is generally based on some form of reality. Some inkling of real life. But when I think about the two different murderers that come to mind, especially stuff you see on, what's that show with Shamar Moore, Criminal Minds, you'll have someone who is a good husband, good father to his children, but so like doesn't do anything, goes to work, provides for the family. Generally, the mom doesn't even have to work, gets to be a stay-at-home mom. In a lot of the situations I saw, now there may be some sort of control with that, but you don't see it where he's abusive to his wife or his children. Right. But then there's also a serial killer, a pedophile, or something like that. So I think in that sense, if you just, like you said, compartmentalize it and separate the behavior from how he's behaving in home, then yes. But then that is solely how a lot of serial killers and murderers and rapists like have lived their lives for so long and get away with that shit for so long is by doing that. So on the flip side of that, though, then you have and these are usually people with like more severe, I feel like, mental health issues. You have the killers, the whatever, who also are abusive to their family.
Right.
The pedophiles who are also abusing their children and stuff like that. So it's kind of like yes and no. It just depends on who it is, what they're doing, what their motivation is for the bad behavior that they display to whoever. Like it all depends on what their motivation is, because sometimes you have people that were abused maybe by their mom. I see this a lot where like, and I'm not even saying like sexually abused necessarily, but just abused in some sense by their mom. And so the victims that they target are people that remind them of their mom. Like I remember a specific episode where this guy was killing moms who were not like, I'm not going to say like they were being prostitutes because it wasn't that, but maybe they had too many guys around and weren't paying attention to their kids. And their kid, usually a son in the episode I'm thinking of, felt neglected, and they could see that. And I think it might have been his teacher. I think he was a teacher.
I was going to say, he has to be somebody that can invest a lot of time into fucking investigating who he gonna fucking...
I'm pretty sure it was a teacher. And so like, that's why he killed the people that he killed. But the woman that he was married to and children and all that, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So you have situations like that where they kill because of that reason. Then you have the people that just do evil things because they are just extremely disturbed, and it doesn't matter who it is.
It's still a lady out here that was in love with Ted Bundy, even after she found out all of the stuff about him. So
yeah.
Like there are, like I said, a nice chunk, and I don't know if I want to use the word successful, but a nice chunk of successful serial killers, murderers, rapists, that kind of things. They're successful solely for the ability of them to compartmentalize things
and to appear. Oh, he was a nice guy.
Yeah,
and
nice
I would
guy,
say
volunteers.
I'd say even the ones that, in their minds, they were successful. So that's actually a good word to use because they got away with things for so long. Right. But then you have the people that even when they caught, because they're generally narcissists, they're still successful in their mind because now everyone's going to be talking about them. Yep. So either way, in their mind, they were successful at what they did. I just wanted to unpack that because I thought that was a really interesting question.
It was.
In the midst of all that, I love when Love not goes off on her mom, but really like basically does. Just because because of her mom always being dismissive of things, always throwing her mistakes in her face as if she doesn't have any of her own. Like you guys weren't the greatest parents. That's why your children were doing the things that they were doing while you were off in the skiing or whatever you were doing, leaving your child with the babysitter that was molesting your son. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you openly let Love know that you favored her twin brother more than her. You know what I'm saying? You never could get over any of the things that Love did, though you know she has mental health struggles. And then now that she's a mom, you are trying to act like you know everything when Love is saying, does he have a fever? Which that baby looks sick. And he was crying a lot. And he don't
like
normally cry like that.
He don't really be crying like... I love how we said like we know him. But Henry don't really be crying like that.
He really don't. Like now that him and Joe, he used to cry with Joe until Joe got his stuff together and was like, you know what?
And they had that little man-to-man.
After that, Henry wasn't crying like that. So like Love knew. And now you got to call, oh my gosh, we're at the hospital. He's sick. And it's detrimental. You know what I mean? So I was here for that because I'm just like, her mom, like, just because you're her mom, it doesn't mean you know everything. Because you obviously didn't.
Right.
And obviously, though, it's just a very toxic situation because, again, this is not your son that was killed. This is your grandchild. This is not 40 reincarnated. Like, that's not what this is.
I mean, when we think about the first 2 episodes, how she's basically only going in there for photo ops. Like, she don't even really know this kid. She's just trying to find something to cling on to that reminds her of her son.
And it sounds like she may be going through a divorce.
She's definitely going through divorce, which is why the money's kind of funny. And that's why she's making all these like random ass investments and shit, trying to get her shit right, because she's still trying to live the life that she was living.
I'm going to get a vineyard. Together. You'll figure it out. When has love ever figured anything out? Like, when have you had her figure it? When did you prepare her for what
figure anything out?
Yeah, you didn't. So you're being selfish. Right. You know what I mean? You're making this decision after. I don't believe that was already in the works. I believe this is a impulsive decision that she made
after the first conversation that they had about money.
I definitely believe that. Yep. Yeah.
I believe it as well.
So,
so I mean, we're kind of at the end almost. Joe lied to Love about planting the scarf. Right? Because he never, because when he was leaving, he found the scarf by the trash can. So he picked it up. And did he burn it?
Yeah, well, he did that with Love. So he did say, I did, because he did at
but
first,
he took it back.
But he said, I took it back because we can't do that. And I love how then Love is like, yeah, we're better than that. Because framing someone for murder is apparently worse than murdering someone.
Than murdering a person. Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So they're better than, they're not better than murder.
Because one was an old next door neighbor bitch trying to take my husband, and the other and the other nigga is the innocent guy. Like,
yeah.
So he didn't do nothing.
They're better than that. Like that's that's
where we draw the line.
Yeah, that's too far.
Framing people, Joe. Really, that's where we draw the line.
Chopping them with an axe, though. Yes, that's within our wheelhouse of things we do.
Right.
Slicing them in the throat in a cage.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But framing someone,
no, that is
evidence,
that is way too far. Yeah. Speaking of murders, so we come to the end of the episode, basically. And
well, real quick. The husband finally talks to the press.
Oh, let's back up to the vigil.
Yeah.
Yes. So the husband finally comes out there and makes a statement. Sherry is out there being so fake, talking about that's her best friend. Photo ops, finna be all over her blog. Can't stand her. I cannot stand her. I can't stand people who do things like who try to capitalize on things like that in real life. So seeing it on TV on a show when it's really a reflection of what I see people do on the internet all the time, it really disgusts me. You know what I'm saying? Whenever somebody dies, now they don't know she's dead. Whenever somebody dies, you have baby mamas who weren't even with him like that. You done moved on. You got kids by somebody else, but this was the love of your life. Okay. You have homies that really weren't homies. Oh, man, I mean, I know we didn't see eye to eye, but whoopty-woo. That ain't what you said to him when you went off on him last week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you see all these people, and it's crazy because the other day, because I used to work with youth and I used to work with kids that when I was doing gang intervention, whenever I see that a younger person, now a lot of them are adults now, but still early 20s, young adults, when I see that someone passed away, I'll kind of check to see if it's somebody I know, because a kid that I did used to work out with, I found out she was killed. And so I think it was yesterday, I'm doing my Facebook investigating because I found out randomly just by being on somebody else's post, and you know how you end up all over the world, that somebody got killed. And so then I was going through his page because he kind of looked like this kid I used to work with, but I couldn't tell because it's been, I want to say 3 years since I worked with that kid. So it's like, you're older now, you know what I mean? And your hair could be longer or whatever. So I was really, because he he looked like very much like him, but I guess they're friends because I kind of picked that together through pictures and whatever. But you see people, of course, making statuses, tagging him, writing on his wall, and then you see where his girlfriend made a status. Then you see you see that, of course. You see the ex talking about my only love. What's understood didn't need to be explained and blah blah. Girl, shut up. You see people mad talking about I feel like you're just doing this for clout and I don't like that, because that's what people do. They want to turn the attention away from the family and the actual close friends to make it about them. And I hate that, to the point where I don't even make, like, I did at first because I wanted to honor, and you go through grieving, trying to figure out how to honor people. And so I would, like, on specific days, it doesn't mean I don't think about their dad other days, but on specific days I'll make posts. I don't even do that anymore because first of all, then you have all the people that are going to come like, oh, I'm praying for y'all. Oh, whatever. Hey, none of y'all reached out. I still remember homies that said, yeah, I got y'all.
If you need anything,
you've done nothing except you was in my DMs trying to be on some other stuff. Yeah, niggas are raggedy. And one of them, because it happened with like a few people. One of them, though, I checked him and I was like, because he was like, I've been wanting to kick it with you. I was like, you weren't saying, first of all, I wouldn't anyway, even if you would have said this when he was alive. But he was like, I said, you weren't saying this when he was alive. So you coming like this now is grimy. Well, why would I say that when he was alive? Exactly, my nigga. Exactly. If you couldn't have kept that same
couldn't have fathomed saying it to him when he was alive, then why are you saying it now?
Exactly. So yeah, clout chasers disgust me. So seeing this woman that I already don't like, didn't like her from the moment I saw her, and the more that she continues to be alive for however many more episodes,
she got two more.
She may get to stay alive though, now that because Love seems less irritated by her. And maybe it's just she's distracted by her murder, right? But she ain't that distracted. But before we get there, Matthew finally speaks. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh no, I mean nothing. You know, it was a very husband response to the public. Like, if you out there, girl, like, I don't care about nothing. Just come home, whatever. And if you hurt her, I'm gonna do whatever I can to find you, and I'm gonna get you. Like, it was kind of one of those things. The sun was in the background. I couldn't really feel what the mood was with him. He was just that was standing there. Yeah, I couldn't read him. But that was basically it. I mean, it relieves the press because now they can kind of ease off on the suspicion of him, and now maybe they'll give him a little bit more room, things like that. Because it was just getting to the point where they were literally there just to get him to say anything. It wasn't even that they were there to do anything else, but to get him to fucking say anything. So
they wanted to be the first to
have him say something on camera. So he did. The cops also found Natalie's ring. I don't necessarily know what that means to us yet. Hopefully nothing.
Now I know. Now, here were my thoughts when I saw that.
Okay.
I know that Love put it there on purpose to make it seem like she took it off, washing her hands, and then left. But I also don't know that Love had gloves on when she was touching that. I don't remember Joe having gloves on when he was touching it. So if these are proficient detectives, which we're still on the fence about that.
Right.
But if they at least do what they learned in the police academy and detective school, they should be fingerprinting. And then you're going to have Love and Joe's fingerprints all over it. Maybe
if they do that, because I also notice in a lot of like shows and stuff, like us, a lot of fucking slack police work just because I think they have to keep the story going. Like, I think that they like super overlook like hella like details that a cop wouldn't have overlooked in real life.
That makes sense.
To get through that. So it would be interesting now that they found the ring to see what happens after. Because you're right. In real cases, they would have fingerprinted the fuck out of that shit and the shit would be over. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Now, Joe could, if he's smart, he could explain why his fingerprints were on it. Because, okay, him and Natalie had wine together. Now, Love knows that she tried to get with Joe. So he could say, she tried to get with me, but I didn't feel like this was the appropriate time to bring that up. As Matthew's grieving, I shouldn't have left it out, but I did. You could say she turned the cameras off. Matthew could verify that.
Not the cameras were turned off.
Yeah. And so... And then Matthew, knowing how they got together, and also I know that he knows their marriage is whatever, you know what I mean? Like, he's not unaware of that because he's distant. That's why his wife cheated first. I believe Natalie, like, that was true. So I feel like in some ways that might be why when he was in the backyard looking at the laptop, looked up at Joe because he saw that and is like,
the cameras were off.
And that's why he asked him. Natalie didn't tell them, hey, they had wine. You saw that. But it's better to say, Natalie told me. Did she say anything? You know, stuff like that. But so Joe could explain that away. Love can't explain them fingerprints
if her fingerprints are on there
at all.
That's true.
So that'll be interesting.
It will be. And then so we figure out, because this whole time I think at this point, did you think that Joe gave this nigga the measles?
I wondered once we saw that he had it, because he had been sweating since whenever, and he's like, oh, I thought I was nervous, I'm sick. I kind of Okay.
Love, again, as usual, alone in the bakery. Margaret's husband. I don't know her name. I don't know his name.
That's funny that you remember or have her name written down, because I don't even have her name written down. I have his name written down. Okay. Which is Gil. Okay. Before we talk about this scene, we have to back up, because this is an important detail. Love, being a responsible parent who actually was not trying to be out here passing measles to anybody. She thought the measles had been eradicated. She called everybody that they had been around to say, hey, Henry's in the hospital. He has the measles. I'm sorry. She calls Margaret.
Margaret gets pissed.
That Margaret, I didn't take that as pissed.
Okay, tell me what you felt.
I just took that. I thought it was like fear, like, oh my gosh, my kids may have the measles. Kind of. But at the same time, it was kind of weird because she just didn't say anything. She just got off the phone.
Yeah, I don't know. I took her silence for like she was hella upset that that her kids were possibly around somebody that could have given the measles. But you're right. It was strange. And we come to find out when Gil comes to the bakery, he's like, oh, let me get a half a dozen of this. And she's like, oh, shit. Because nobody buy her shit. So they was like, oh, shit. Like, for sure. Let me.
She was hella happy.
You can tell she was hella happy to sell them 6 things. But so she was boxing them up. And he was like, really? I came here because I got to apologize. She's like, what the fuck you got to apologize for? He's like, well... our kids aren't vaccinated, and basically our kids is why the measles spread. And I'm sorry your kid is in the hospital. And I'm sorry your husband almost died. And
the way he says it though, because the unvaccinated, all of that, okay, fine. You don't have to vaccinate your kids. We're not even going to have a discussion about that. What we are going to have a discussion about is you knew that your kids had the measles and you took your kids
to a party.
Your twins, 2 of them, not just one, double the chances of spreading it. You took your kids to this birthday party with other people. Now, the baby was too young to have, because I can't remember. I know you get, I know you get shots at like 2 months, but I don't remember which ones it is. Like, and either way, he obviously didn't have the measles vaccination.
Right.
But you were irresponsible, not because you didn't vaccinate your kids. That's your business. I know plenty of people who feel the same way. But you're taking your sick kids to a birthday party. And you're trying to explain it away like, oh, focusing on, well, we don't believe in vaccinations. That's not the issue.
But do you believe that measles are contagious? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, I don't care about any of the other stuff. Like,
exactly.
Like, do you believe that if you choose to not vaccinate your kids, that they have the potential to have and spread these things? Is what I'm asking. Like, that's the point here. No one gives a fuck about your personal beliefs, my nigga.
Exactly.
Like, at all. Like, and because niggas don't care about your personal beliefs,
that part.
This nigga never left.
And what's crazy is prior to him coming in the bakery, she was reading an article about anti-vax vaccination argument or something. Your baby almost died because it was bad at some point. Then your husband almost died because he wasn't vaccinated and didn't know. That's not his fault.
That's not his fault.
And you're up here. You see the disgust. You see the love killer mode switch on, and she's looking in his mouth as he's trying to talk about how we don't believe in putting poison that they don't need. Yada yada yada. Thanks for the scones or whatever. Walks away. She calls his name. I don't know where she got this bat from or whatever, but I guess
was it a rolling pin?
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was
a rolling pin.
That makes more sense. Yeah, okay. So she is so strong, though, with this rolling pin. That's why, yeah, she's so strong with this rolling pin that she busts this nigga in the head, and I'm certain he's dead. No way he's still alive.
That he's not making it into episode 4.
So the murder count, this is why I started the murder count this season, is love 2, Joe 0. Joe has yet to kill anyone. Now, if we want to add another count of the murder cover-up count, then we will put the thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
We might get some numbers on
and
Joe.
It would be Joe 1, about to be 2.
Right.
Love 0.
0 accountability.
Exactly.
0 everything.
0 anything except tons of impulse.
Because all you know she about to do is be like, they gave our baby measles. Like, okay, bitch, but you killed him.
And here's the thing.
And we're in the middle of covering up the last one. Like, you're not even letting our first one be in the clear yet. But here you go. And again, guys, remember that we said this is a small town where this shit does not happen. So now we're talking about 2 people. And again, where are those cameras? Because it's about to be another person.
You are reading my mind. I love this. I was trying to like wait till you're done. Yes, another person that went in the bakery and will not walk up. Out. It was broad daylight. Like, y'all don't pay attention even. Anybody could just be like, I saw her go in, but I never actually saw her come out when I think about it. Like, I saw Gil go in. Is there evidence that he was supposed to go there? When his wife is missing, was he not missing, off at her mom's house so the kids can recover? Were you supposed to be taking those scones to them? Is there text message proof that you said, I'm about to go to Love's Bakery? Like, she doesn't think about any of that. She just gets mad and kills. She doesn't have time for that. She doesn't have time for that. Never had to think about that. And that's why she continues, because when you think about when she went back and killed Forty's babysitter or pair or whatever that woman was, no accountability, has never had any. Joe, since he's been in her life, has been actually cleaning up her messes.
And honestly, I'm going to go out and say it right now. This relationship is very toxic. And I'm definitely asking, I definitely would like Joe to exit. And if that means, and however he has to do it.
Yeah. So this is going to be Is love? Ooh, do you think love is gonna make it through this season?
I don't think so. I truly feel like we're about to get rid of fucking Talkie McGee, the black girl, and we're about to get rid of fucking I don't see love making it up out of here, bro. Like I don't. Like she's doing like she's it's too dangerous. Like she's has too much hazard in Joe's life where this is not some shit he used to. He's used to having complete control of these types of situations, and she's constantly throwing him in the situation after she'd already made the decision.
And him wanting to be a good father and protect his son, that's where I could see why he would do it, because you're not thinking of Henry when you do this. Yes, Henry got the measles, but he survived. He's okay. Like, this is what Joe is going to say to her. He got better. Now you're putting him in danger of not having his mom around and not being raised by his mom because you keep killing people. I feel like that's about verbatim, that's how exactly that conversation's gonna go. You know what I mean? So yeah, love is love. And I remember Kayliana, I was trying to see if she could hop on this episode actually. So just a sneak preview for y'all. We are trying to get my oldest daughter in on one of these recaps because she's actually the one that introduced me to this show. And when I told her that Khris and I were doing the recap, she's like, I want to do a recap show with you. And I'm like, okay, well, you can come on. And I was trying to get her on this episode, but it wouldn't work with her schedule. But the crazy thing is that she was at episode 3 when I first started, and I remember her saying love is doing too much, and now I understand that
he's doing too much.
Yeah, like she wouldn't tell me anything because she knew better than to know that. Which also, let me just put this out there in the listener verse, Twitter verse, whatever. Khris and I only watch one episode at a time, so we have only watched through season 3, episode 3. And the reason we do this is because then the recaps are authentic to just each episode and what we've learned up to this point. I know me personally, and Khris is probably the same. I couldn't know everything that's going to happen and not accidentally talk about it. So like
stuff that happened before, or later on.
Yeah. Exactly. So for those of y'all that are watching maybe with us, maybe you weren't a Youuuu fan and you're a listener of the show and you're like, oh, let me see what she's talking about or whatever. Understand we're right here with you. But I also say that because if you tweet at me that you've watched the whole season, please don't spoil anything. You know what I mean? Even if you notice on my episode promo videos, now I put spoiler alert because this is a show that kind of just came out and you may not have watched it all yet. So I want you to know, and I just learned how to do that. But also, you know what I'm saying? Your girl's out here learning and trying to grow and whatnot. But I want y'all to know that if you watch or listen to this, we're going to be talking about, we're doing a recap. So like in the episode notes, it says spoiler alert. So I just say that because I would prefer that none of you tell me anything that happens beyond. We can definitely, if you want to discuss what I talked about in the show, what Khris talked about in the show, tweet at us, you know what I'm saying, whatever, but just don't.
Don't tell me about episode 4.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. When she knocked this nigga out at the end of this one, I was almost letting it roll, but I was like, nope.
You know what? Normally I'll turn it off right away. And next episode, and then I was
got like that close.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't because I need to watch it right like after. Like now I could watch it.
Yeah.
But I usually watch it the day we record, depending on what time, or the day before.
Yeah.
Just because then it's fresh in my mind when we discuss it. I mean, I make notes, but yeah, I kind of like to do it like that. So it's like I just watched it.
Same.
It's still fresh. But yeah, so this has been Youuuu. See, let me make sure I don't have any other notes. I will say this real quick. I love the way that Love played Sherry and manipulated her to get her to finally buy something from the bakery by just letting Sherry feel like, oh my gosh, I need to feel sorry for you. Yeah. So yeah, I made this. I loved that because she's learning how to play her. You know what I mean? She doesn't know how to make her respect her. So, okay, if her feeling sorry for me is going to get her to do what I need her to do, cool. That's what I'll do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's all I have. Nothing else with this episode.
That's it.
Yeah, they've all been good. I didn't expect anyone else to get killed while there's a murder investigation going on.
It's about to take an uptick, I feel like, because now we're literally piling bodies on top of each other now.
And the police, you guys are new in town. And they know that you're new in town. Not only did they know before you told them. If they're smart, they knew.
Right.
That's still debatable. We don't know. But you told them. And now, since you've been there, one woman's missing. And potentially, I don't know if they're going to know he's dead or if he's going to be, quote unquote, missing, or how they're going to cover this one up. But I imagine Joe going off on Love in this next episode. Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if she will survive this season. Like, is she going to be the Youuuu that gets killed by Joe? Because Joe only kills to protect. And at the end of the day, his number one priority is going to be Henry over Love. All day, every day.
Love. This is gonna sound funny, but Love is a liability.
Yep, she is. She absolutely is.
The person, the fucking idea, all of it is a liability.
Yes,
it's a liability.
Yes, I like that. That's good. Yep.
Yeah.
So, this is interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. Tell them where to find you and all that good stuff.
Okay, guys, I am the solo podcast host of Shenanigans with Friends. Shenanigans Podcast on Facebook, Shenanigans _ on podcast on IG, SW Friends on SW Friends Pod on Twitter. It's _Khris. That's ITS _KHRIS on Twitter. All Docked Up just went live right before this. You guys will be able to see that on YouTube right now, and the audio should be out tomorrow. All Docked Up Pod on IG and All Docked Up on Twitter. That's ALLDOCDUP. KOD Bartending on IG and Facebook. And that's it. That's all.
Hit her up. Let her curate a special. Is that the right word?
Curate.
I be feeling like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be learning a lot. And then I'll be, my bartender. No, my mixologist friend, because that is the term I use. You know, she taught me. She's been teaching me some things. So let her curate a drink for you, because if you tell her the alcohol base, she can come up with some stuff. So don't think that, like, every movie night and drink has been different. You know what I'm saying? If you're a regular listener, you know I fell in love with the Bussin' Blue thing, but I've talked about every drink, you know what I'm saying, leading up to that, because there have been many. So hit her up. You won't regret it. You will feel like you're a mixologist, especially if you get a shaker set like I did. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And then I already told you my live show is this Friday, so check that out. Also, as always, man, and I love that we're breaking down this show, because I get to highlight it so much more in a like psychotic kind of way of why you need to take care of your mental and emotional health, take care of your physical and spiritual health, and be healthy in your relationships. Like, don't act like you're okay with things that you're not okay with and then be mad because, quote unquote, they should know. How are they going to know if you don't directly communicate it? They're not. You know what I'm saying? No one should just know anything. What should happen, especially if you're an adult listening to this, is that you need to do what you need to do to communicate your needs. But at the same time, address your triggers. Being triggered is not an excuse to act a fool. Now, your feelings are valid, yes, but you need to not let your feelings fuel bad behavior, toxic behavior. Like, there is no excuse. Just like you want that person to be healthy, you're accountable to do the same thing. So it's super important. We're going through a lot. 2021, 2022.0 is really, we don't know what 2022 is about to be on, because we didn't think 2021 was about to be on this. And it's about to be the holidays, which is a tough time a lot of times, because family dynamics can be very toxic. There are people that don't want to go around their family for the holidays, or are dreading it, or have to pregame before the family event to be able to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I know you feel the vibes that little Jerome really don't want to be there. I know, Keisha got your invitation to Thanksgiving, but when she show up, you gonna know why. I know you noticed that Sally is being petty, you know what I'm saying, or high out of her mind at every family event, because she can't stand to be around y'all sober. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is never the environment that, like, the rest of my family, I don't think anyone hates me or anything, but like, if my kids were to feel like didn't want to come around me, like, I would be really hurt by that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do what you have to do, though, to make people want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? You're not always right. We all have toxic stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just the level to which we continue to operate in it. So that is my encouragement to y'all. And no, I won't give any murder advice, because that's probably not what I don't know. Love is just so dumb. Like, she just does not plan or think anything through. She just wants to go with the flow, and it's pissing me off. Like, a lot of this is uncalled for. Really, all of it has. She didn't even have to kill Natalie.
Not really. I mean, all we really needed was 24 hours, and we'd have found out that bitch was just playing this nigga anyway. So but that has been the episode. We thank y'all so much for tuning in. Until y'all hear us next week. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for